Hello and welcome back to Dubious Engineering. So, me mate, Luke, decided that he wanted to commission me to make a little 3D printed electronic light princess nameplate for Talia, his daughter, for her bedroom door. And he said, if you put that together, that would be absolutely awesome, be brilliant. And he paid me for the parts and actually donated a little bit to the channel to keep us going, which is very, very kind of him. So here's a little video of the making of said electronic 3D printed nameplate. I'm sure there's not too many of those out there. I'm certain it's not the first in the world. I'm sure plenty of people have done this already, but it was fun to do. So I'll just quickly talk you through what I did. Everything was made in white PLA, and in fact I reprinted this twice. As you'll notice, there's a few gaps in this particular one. So I had some issues with my printer nozzle heat settings, which I have subsequently fixed. So I reprinted this and got it right second time around, which is always nice. So using white Creality PLA, I printed the front fascia. My wife Vicky very kindly went ahead and decorated this and laid out all of the letters that we bought from a local art shop and put glitter on it and all that kind of good stuff. And then I went ahead and I put some electronics inside of it because Luke said that he wanted some kind of make it a bit different, a bit interesting. So I used some flashing LEDs, which I found on eBay for a few quid, and I also decided that I didn't want it just to sort of either stay on and be left on by accident, so I wanted it to be push button, but at the same time I didn't want for the batteries to be able to run out in it. So what I went and did is I took a transistor and I stuck a capacitor on the base of that transistor. In fact, it looks like I'm going to draw the circuit diagram. Okay, so just to talk you through the circuit diagram very quickly then. The transistor was a 2N3704 NPN style transistor, and just using two AA batteries. And basically what I did was connect the collector of the transistor to the 3-volt side, and then effectively connect three flashing LEDs, well in fact more than three, as you can see, multiple flashing, I think it was 6 in the end, flashing LEDs to it, and then a switch, a little momentary push switch to the base of the transistor. Now, in this circuit diagram, I'm drawing it incorrectly, I know that, so my apologies for leading you astray, but that capacitor there doesn't have the resistor on the back end of it. In fact, it has a resistor on the other side of the capacitor, so that when that capacitor's charged, that capacitor effectively biases the voltage on the base of the transistor to a higher level, higher than the emitter of the transistor effectively, in order to turn on those LEDs. Now, had I thought about this a little bit more, if those LEDs had gone between the collector and the 3-volt line, I wouldn't have had to have used such a big capacitor, because I wouldn't have had to have gotten that base voltage up, biased the base voltage up higher than the LED voltage as well as. So, just some fundamentals here that I didn't think of when I was doing this, but the principle's still there, it still works, and I did end up having to use quite a large fat hairy capacitor to make this happen, and really and truly I shouldn't have had to have done that. I hope you understand where I was going with this, and yes, apologies for soldering onto battery terminals as well. I continually do this and continually get told off for it, but there we go, it is what it is. So with all of that done, I then went on to fit all of the electronics and all the rest of it, and get the clamps on there, glue everything together using Gorilla Glue. I found Gorilla Glue is absolutely magnificent, by the way. Use some Gorilla Glue to glue everything together, to glue the 3D printed base onto the 3D printed front, and then used a whole bunch of 3D printed clamps. So this is a 3D printed princess. It was meant to be a princess's nameplate. It's meant to be a princess's crown with little glowing jewels in it. Yeah, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it sort of works. I'm reasonably happy with it. So it's certainly something different that'll go on the front of Talia's door anyway. And you never know, she may one day say, "I wonder how this works." I can't help myself. I just like to make stuff. I just like to build stuff. That's my problem. I enjoy building stuff. I enjoy making stuff. I enjoy the designing and developing. I mean, this is, sort of simple stuff. It's just good fun. And when somebody sets me a challenge, sometimes I just can't help myself. I have to do it. Yeah. So anyway, here it is, and I hope it lights a few candles for a few people, so to speak. I hope it's interesting and mildly entertaining, and I'm sure you'll pull it apart and say, hey, you know what, you've done this wrong, you've done that wrong. And I know I have, because to be fair, it was very dubiously put together. But it was good fun making it, and that was the important thing. And it should last, it should never blow up, it should last for an awfully long time, and with a little bit of luck, it'll make a dad and a daughter very, very happy. Fingers crossed, let's see how we do. Cheers all. Hello mate.
Oh, you all right? Yeah, not bad, you?
Brilliant, yeah. Well, some time ago you asked me to put together a little special something for your daughter's door.
Yeah, it's called
and you wanted something like a nameplate that was sort of 3D printed, and you wanted it sort of princessy.
Yes.
And, well, basically here it is, mate.
Brilliant stuff, let's have a look.
I hope it's okay.
No, that looks absolutely brilliant.
Oh, fantastic.
You got the...
And there's a little button on the side of it there, so when you press it, it lights up. Fantastic, yeah.
That's brilliant. She's going to absolutely love that.
Yeah,
go on the door, pride of place, and when the light's off, she's got a little night light on there as well.
So it's all 3D printed, and the batteries in it should last for a really, really long time. So there's a bit of electronics in there to make sure that the lights sort of stay on, even just sort of gently glowing away in the background. Eventually they will turn off, and then my wife is responsible for decorating.
No, it looks brilliant. It's very Christmassy as well.
It is sort of it's got a Christmas colour to it.
Yeah, coming up to the festive things. I think she's absolutely going to love that. Put that on her door, and she's going to absolutely love it.
Brilliant, thanks, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the commission.